Okay, so today I challenged myself to work on the habit tracker application at least 4 hours. And because I'm gonna have a dinner later this evening, so I think 4 hours is enough for me for today. Let's go and start coding. So I just finished the first session and I finished the user authentications and page protection. It's really fast because I use my own component, SuperOS, to do so. And while doing it, I see that my package SuperOS, from Supabase, I think the function is deprecated. That's why it takes a little bit of time to update the code. So I think I need to update the other package that I'm working on as well. Other than that, it's great. So let's continue our session. Right now, let's take a quick break and let's continue coding. So this is my second session. So I have 6 more sessions, and right now it's 2:23. And I'm gonna go for lunch and then, all right. Yo, sao em kêu chơi này muối? Stuck in the cafe. It's raining outside, and this month is the rainy season in my country, so we have only dry season and a rainy season. And during the rainy season it's rain almost every day. So yeah, I'm will be back at home, so I'm going to update the progress and show you what I have done, like maybe it's just in summary, so you can see what I've done. And all right. Hello. Great. All right, so here's a summary of what I've been doing today. So this UI right here, right now, is connected to the database. So I have created like a mock data inside the database. So every data that you can see here is fetched directly from the database. So if I refresh, so there's going to be some loading. I'm gonna fix that soon in the next tomorrow, or maybe in the next day. So all the data here is fetched from the database, and we have this today. You can see today date is Friday, so that's why we have like this data on today, and we have this progress right here. All right, so right now let's take a look at the database. When I connect this one, is there any sync change from my previous video when I designed in the first place? So if you look at the database design right now, currently I created only 5 tables. I think there's probably 1 more table or 2 more that for the challenger. But as of now, let's take a look what I've been doing so far. So first of all, let's take a look at the quest table. So this quest table right here. So for the quest table, we have ID, the title, emoji, created by, and public. And the created by right here is optional, and this public right here is for the quest. So for example, every quest so the game of the habit game here has 6 quests that is default for you, and so it's just like the game, right? The game will have like the default quest for you, so that's why I have set the public right here. And for created by is the quest that the user want to do it on their own. So that's why we have this one. So the public right here is helpful policy when we do the policy for the user to query. I think we can take a look at the policy and how to read this quest as well. So if you look at the quest and go to policy, and we have 2 policy for select. So you can see allow user to read if the quest is public, and we can see that, as you can see, we just filter out like the public is equal to true. Other one is that they read their own quest. So their own quest, so basically created by is equal to auth right here. So this is the policy for it. And for the insert as well, the policy of this table is to first make sure that you put the ID as your ID, and the public is to false, since this is your own public state, and then it's going to be false. Okay, great. So right now, so that's done for this quest. So for the quest right here, we're gonna have like the quest progress. So for the quest progress, it linked to the quest. It's one-to-one relationships. So we have the quest ID, and we have the user ID, and we have the is complete or the image URL. So the image URL right here, as of now, I put this one as optional, nullable. But later on, I'm gonna update this one as not nullable, because in order to mark it complete, the user need to upload the photo of the quest, and then so the other people can mark that as complete, right? So but as of now, since I do not have any photos, and then so I just make this nullable. And yeah, so this is 2 relationship right here. This is related to each other. That is enabled for query the quest right here. So because the quest right here is this is like the quest data, and this is the quest progress of each user. And so right now, let's take a look at the code on how I query this one. So if you look at the code, it's actually really simple. Inside the code right here, I create a hook called use quest. So use quest right here is responsible to query the quest, and this is use React query. So as you can see right now, we just fetch from the quest table, and since there's a relationship to the quest progress, so we can do it. So, and the return data, as you can see, we have everything that we need. So after I use this hook, and then I can use this hook inside my page, which my component, which is the quest right here. So you can see, just use quest right here, and we have is fetching. So this is later on, I'm going to use this one for skeleton loading of the component right here, because right now if I refresh, it blank and then it's appear. So I need to create a skeleton for it. All right, so that's done for the quest table and how design and how I query. So let's move on to the user profile right here. So for the user profile, we have a lot of information here. So you can see we have the ID, we have the email, display name, image URL, provider, and quest count. So the provider right here will be a provider from the because right now I allow user to log in with Google or GitHub, and so we need to mark that information right here. So the reason that I do that is because it is going to be easy for render this page right here, this one right here. So that's why I have set like that. And right now, if we go back, and I think for this one, what I'm going to do is to adding another field, maybe later on, is the like the start of the quest, start of the game. So when you start the game, so for that we can keep track when the user start the game, so then we can mark on the calendar on the right strike. So as of now, the calendar, for example, the strike should count from here, right? So on this one, we should not mark anything. So we just keep it as it is. So for that, we need to know
when the user start this quest or when the user is created. And oh yeah, I think while explaining you, I think we can just use created at, right? So when the user created, it means they start a quest. So we can count it from there. All right. All right. Okay, that's good. So I think I'm gonna use it. So rather than add a new one. Okay, interesting. Okay. All right, so for now, for this table right here, for all the data that insert, I'm using the trigger function to insert into this one. So right now we can take a look at the trigger function. So we can go to the database and let's go to function, and we have like create user on sign up right here. And for the trigger function, so as you can see, it's really basics. So it just read the table, insert into the profile, and then with the provider and information. And one more thing, while the user sign up, we also automatically create the strike record for them on one times when after they create the account. So the strike value, it's going to be 0 and with the user ID. So as you can see, we have the strike table right here. That is count and the user ID, and it has a one-to-one relationship to the profile as well. So this is like the strike table, okay? And yeah, so for quest, this one and how I fetch this data is really simple. I also create another hook, which is called use user. And so for this use user right here, which is called the profile, and with the one-to-one relationship strike right here. And then so I'll be able to get all of the data that I needed to render this page, because on this page, I need the username and also I need the strike number. Right now is 0. So yeah. That's it. And so you might ask, okay, for this one, I do not specify any ID of the user. So for this one, I just set the policy that the user can be able to read their own data. So that's why when we fetch this one, it's when we select single, they know that, okay, will they be able to select their own IDs only. And we can take a look at the policy on this table as well. So we can go into the profile and the policy right here. And then we can check this one. So you can see selects their own IDs only. I think for this one, I think maybe I need to update the policy that allow the challenger to view their profile as well, like read their profile information as well. Maybe that's going to be another policy when I add the challengers table. As of right now, I do not know yet when I implement that, so we'll see what happens. Yeah. So that's finished this component profile right here. So right now let's take a look at the calendar right here. I think the calendar right here is I spend the most of time trying to implement this one. So let's see my thought process on this one, and don't forget to give me feedback as well, okay? So this one is going to be the quest log. So the quest log right here is responsible for that. So the quest log is we have the user ID, so it's going to be one-to-one relationships, not one-to-one, it's one-to-many relationships with this one, because like it's going to create a multiple log at the different day. So the log date right here is going to be current date, and we have is completed and count. So right now this one right here, we do not have like the functionality to create the quest log just yet. And so the data that I show you on the screen is basically from the hardcode data on the table right here. So I haven't created a functionality to do it yet. And yeah, so I think this is really simple. And we have the policy like this one. So the policy, so that the user be able to read their own log only, so they cannot read other people's log. And one more thing, I think for this select right here, I do not write an API like to query. So if you look at my query on the quest log, you can see that I use the RPC instead of the writing the different from the quest. So for the quest, we use like select from the quest table, but for this one, I'm creating the RPC. So the RPC is just like it's the database function. It's like a Postgres function. So instead of writing the query from the client right here, I create the Postgres function that's responsible to query the data of the quest log. So we can take a look at it. So right now, let's go into the database and let's go to function. And this one right here, get the current week data. And we can go to edit function. So right here is a lot of things right here. So basically this one, I just copy and paste from ChatGPT, and it's not, I just prompt to ChatGPT and it give me this. So it worked well. Maybe I haven't tested yet, but so far it's good. So we just go through this one. I think maybe this is like a miss, like a missing part. Maybe we can go here. I think we have, there's no history on this one. Okay, well, all right, it's fine. Maybe we can go back and I try to explain this function for you. Anyway, so, not this one. It's this one right here. Okay, so for this one, it select from the quest log. So you can see it select everything from the quest log. I think maybe I should do the star instead, but this is what ChatGPT prompt me. And then we select this one. We just check if the user is called the user ID. So that we use the auth ID right here, so that the user be able to select their own quest only. And the parameter we check this one is like, it makes sure that it's the current date is in the current week. And it's like, so basically this query right here, it's fetch the data that in the current week. So for example, today is Friday, so it will select like from Sunday until basically in this week data. So this is the query that what it does. Okay, so the maximum of the record that return from here, it's going to be 7 records. And so right now it just only return 1 record because I had code value 1 record right here. So for that we need to have like the functionality for that as well. It's a little bit tricky when it's supposed to return 7 record, but since we have less data when the user created, so it's going to be like a 1 or 2 record. Like in the first week there's no like 7 record, right? They just only maybe I think 1 record, right? So for that I create the function which is this one right here. So if you go into the quest log, so the quest log right here, it's fetch the data. I think maybe we can take a look at this one first. It fetch the data and return, and this is the data of the quest log. We return everything, but it's going to use inside this component right here, the quest log. So we use the quest log right here. And so this one, we get the current day with week. So this is like the function that's responsible for that. So we go into this function. So this function will pass the data of the quest log. And then I need to loops of the quest log to pass it. So the reason that I pass this one is because I need to convert it into the objects of date. So I can keep track of like the key value pair. So the value of this one is going to be like, it's going to be look something like this. The object is going to be like 2024 / 06 / maybe 7. I think right now 7. Yeah, 7 and then like 5 right here. So this is, and then with whatever the value that we have here. Okay, so this is what it does after it's passed this one right here. So the reason that I do that, so that I can map the entire week. So because our calendar that show we fetch the date in the current week as well in the client side. On the client side, this one we get the date of the current week. So, but this one is guaranteed 7 day, like 7 record. So that's why we have like this one right here, like 7 record. But from our database, on initial user, some week we just start out the first week, and so it means we're gonna have like 1 record or 2 records only. Or like maybe the maximum is 7 record. So for that, we need to map this one and with this one, and then we replace the value. So as you can see right here, I do like the pass log if it includes the format date of the 7 day that I render right here, and then I pass the data right here. So this is like if we found the data from the database, and then we can just use it. But if we do not found the data from the database, we just insert the value right here, which is like complete is full, count is 0, and things like that. So this is like the most important function. And yeah, after that I get the log. I just loop the log, and this is like a very basics to show and display the data right here. Hopefully it's not confusing. So maybe if it does, leave it down in the comment. And yeah, don't forget to let me know like how I implement this one as well. Is there any better way to do this? And I put the link to, I think the code is open source. The code is open, not open source, like the code is public in my Git repository. So you can go ahead and check it out. All right, so I think that's all what I'm doing today. And I think I need to clean my code. Maybe my code here is not that bad. I don't have to clean it. Maybe the next step, what I need to do is to make the functionality work, because all the data right now is just hard code from the database and it's fetched here. So the next step is to let the user mark their own quest is complete, and we have the challenger when you find out a player and then they accept your challenge, and that is probably the hardest feature that's coming up. We'll see about that. I think it's almost finished, right? This one, you can see it's almost finished, and it's not that really complicated. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to share with you today, and hopefully you enjoyed this video, and it's been fun for me to making this kind of video. I go to cafe, like, you know, like coding vlog and talking like this. This is fun, and a lot of, I mean, not a lot of you, but some of you asked to do a live stream. I wanted to do it as well, but I need to have the webcam first. Maybe I will need to buy a webcam, and I'm not sure which time that I should do a live stream, because I do not know like who's my audience, where is they coming from, like what is the most, like who watching this. Maybe I will do like a poll so that you guys can vote on what time we can do a live stream. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it of this video, and hopefully you learned something, and hopefully you enjoy my little vlog in the beginning, and as always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to comment. It's really helped me and push me to do more video like this, and yeah, don't forget to like as well and subscribe as well. Okay, anyway, thank you for watching. Bye bye.